Run them lights up. It's time to run them lights up. All right. Let's get it. It's Dog and Dave. It's Dog and Dave. Who?
Dog and Dave.
All right. Yes, sir. We are now tuned in. Also, although I have the wrong background up there, but we are tuned in to the one and only Dog.
There we go.
Dave. Big Dog Chico and David Talks Buffs. We're now going to be talking some Buffs news and everything right now on the news show, man. Once again, this is Dog and Dave tuned in on David's channel and on my channel right now. You can join and become a subscriber and a member. Right now, of course, we have Stanford Cardinals coming into town this Friday for this late night kickoff game under the stars, under the light, should I say. I guess we should have looked up the forecast. Looked like it's going to be like 50 something degrees, I heard.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful fall evening in Boulder. Should be sunny. We're getting a bunch of rain right now, but that should be out of the way come Friday.
Yeah. So a good late night kickoff, 8 p.m. kickoff, Mountain Time. Coach Prime, like you said, just made a comment on that as we were going live. What do you feel about these late night kickoffs going down with the Pac-12 conference out there?
Man, I will just take a page from Coach Prime. Thank God we aren't going to be in this conference anymore. We're going to get great kickoff times next year moving forward. The 10 a.m., it's also not ideal, but I would rather have that than be staying up till 1 a.m. to have y'all stay up, well past 1 a.m. to watch a game.
Well, I think, that's a good question. So you prefer the early games, like you would prefer a 10 a.m. game over a 8 p.m. game, yeah?
That's what you're saying. Yeah. Now, if I was 21, I think that, it would probably be a little bit different. But, I'm in my 30s now. I live a little bit more of a relaxed lifestyle. I'm just chilling. I don't stay out too late often anymore. So, yeah, give me that 10 a.m. kickoff. But I know that's like, you're waking up like you're watching F1 or like I'm watching F1, Big Dog, out in Hawaii. That's what, 6 a.m.?
Yeah, well, see me, I guess so. It might be dealing with the fact of I'm out here in Hawaii also, but I think so. As a player, I preferred a later game, actually. Yeah,
really?
I'd rather, because you got to think about it, as a player, they're going to have you cooped up in the hotel room, away from everybody. Basically, you're almost being pampered in the hotel room because they got 3 meals a day or however long you're there. They're going to be feeding you. All you have to do is go through meetings and then go back to your room and literally relax. They tell you to get off your feet. So if the game is not till 8 p.m. kickoff, we're not leaving to go to the stadium until 5:30 or so. And we're in the locker room probably 6:15, like early. And so I have all day to be in that hotel room, man. I'm chilling. I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna get my body right. And then I can get up around 3:00 and start, kind of prepping myself to get ready for the game. I'd rather do that than possibly not sleeping at night and then having to get up early. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's how I think about it. I will want to always have that extra time to prepare. That's what I'm saying. From a player's point of view.
That's fair.
From watching it at home point of view, though, you say, hey, you'd rather have it earlier, yeah, so you can have the rest of your day to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all let us know in the chats right now what y'all would prefer, early game as a fan, late game as a fan, or even if you played, what did you prefer? Oh, now that everybody in the chats and the comments going crazy, y'all spamming things right now, make it go up. AIM, Chico and Dave. Coach Hart says Travis Hunter is playing. Exactly. We'll get to that in a little bit. Oh, now Jonas Little's out there in the NO. Alpine Garage Sports once again. Football weather coming to Boulder, where it's colder for sure. Aaron Couch, Mama, I made it. 3 p.m. games are the best. Yeah, I like those 3 p.m.s too because it's right in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the day. Yeah. And then also the best time to play, in my opinion, also is like a 4:30 game to where it starts in the daytime. It's not too hot because it's at the, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Dawn,
Yeah.
where sun is going down, and then it goes into the night games. Those are the best. And then you end it early enough in the night to where, as that 21-year-old, you can play the game, go home, get a little rest, get a shower, and then go out to the clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so a little bit different as an old man now, though. You know what I mean? Let me see. Oh, now once again, the green Creole countdown timer. This
Everybody's in here tonight. I love
this,
it.
this Steven just called me Saucy Chico. What's good? No, don't put me in the saucy category. All right, Zesty Steven. All right, Don Peasy. I was at the ASU game, wished it was at night. Right. It was 100 degrees, 100 plus degrees out there, and everybody was like, man, this is a good day. This is great weather. I dipped out on them. I was like Walker Flocker Flame. Walker did an interview with Uncle Neely and got up out of that thing. Walker said it's too hot.
Maybe that's why everybody had bad attitudes after that win on Saturday, huh? Was it just the heat getting to everybody? Hopefully everybody's, feeling a little bit better this time. Come on now.
Right. Said the heat getting everybody. Oh, now my boy, Fly Boy Brad's out there. What's happening with you, my dog? Sade reacts. Sadie reacts. I thought it was
I say
Sade, but
Sadie.
yeah, Sadie reacts. Oh, now. And Miss E. Willa, what's happening with you? Lexus Grant. All right. So we're going to talk about some things that Coach Hart talked about real quick. He said, of course, that competition is hit heavy on on the linebacker side of the football, right? At the linebacker position. With you can name all these guys off: Demore Kennedy, Levante Bentley, Marvin Ham, Jeremiah Brown, Juwan Mitchell. They're all in that middle in the mix, making things happen and competing for playing time, just like those running backs are. But the linebackers, we've seen a lot more of them getting a chance to play. Coach Hart said Demore Kennedy is finally kind of leading the way. He's starting right now in practice.
Okay.
So what do you feel? Also, B. Grant did a good job last game with his ability to get sideline to sideline and cover, being a former safety at Florida State also. What do you feel about these linebackers? Who are you looking forward to coming to the Stanford game?
Well, man, going into Stanford, man, because I feel like they're going to play some big packages, man. With multiple tight ends. We might see a fullback. I don't think we've seen a fullback all year yet. So, it's going to be ground and pound. I think coming from Stanford for parts of these offensive drives. I'd like to see Juju Mitchell back there, man. I feel like he's been our most solid linebacker. I love the speed that Demoy brings, as well. So that would kind of be my preferred duo. But yeah, I was impressed with how Brandon Gant played this past week, and we had a good week against the run. Against Arizona State. There are other things we got to work on, but this was really probably the most stout performance our defense has had against the run this year. So Brandon Gant's in there. It's probably not a coincidence, that we did so well against the run with him in there. What are your thoughts?
Well, holding Arizona State to less than 100 yards. I don't have the exact number. I think it was less than 70, actually. Holding them to less than that on the ground, with them coming into the game, knowing that they wanted to run the ball to establish that and try to control the clock. And for us to put up that fight and to have that attitude of we're not going to let it happen, and then stopping it, and putting them in a situation where now they had to pass the ball. Now that's favoring us. I think that was a great job by our defense, something to build off of going into this next game versus Stanford, who, like you said, we should be seeing some bigger sets, some double tight ends, maybe even a fullback. The quarterback can run the ball, maybe some options, different pitches, misdirections, and a whole bunch of things we're going to have to worry about in this run game. It's kind of remind me of back in high school playing those teams that run like the wing T offense or
Wishbone.
wishbone, and you're like, damn, we know they're going to run it. We just got to stop it. And we know they might hit a couple times, but we can't let that define us. We got to still have the attitude of we're going to hit them in the mouth, and we're going to attack also. What I would like to see, though, are the linebackers, and we'll talk about who I would like to see also. But what I would like to see from the linebackers are a lot more shooting the gaps, a lot more anticipating on the run, to where you can make plays on the other side of the football. You can make plays in the backfield, get tackles for loss, take the hit to them instead of catching every time and just reacting and letting
Yep.
them come and hit us in the mouth. Now we can go on the other side of the ball, be aggressive, and go attack them and try to get some plays in the backfield. The guy who I think can do that is from Alabama, Demore Kennedy, who we've seen a lot on special teams, but now we're going to be able to see come out there and play at the middle linebacker position. Levante Bentley has been improving each game. I think he's been playing, getting a lot more comfortable, but I would like to see him shoot the gaps more and just be a lot more instinctive in the run, because you're going to need that this week coming up.
Yeah. Let's have some Jadeveon Clowney plays, man, where we're blowing some runs up in the backfield. You know, that's something that we haven't seen very often so far this year. We know Stanford's going to run the ball, like you said. This is a great opportunity to show improvement. Be getting a bunch of tackles for loss. I would love to see that this week.
Exactly. Now, when I say I wanted to see Demore Kennedy, nothing against the other linebackers, because I love what Juwan Mitchell has brought. I loved him from the get-go when he came in, just the attitude he came with. Bentley from the 205 Birmingham, you know what I mean? My stumping grounds as far as college goes. So, I got love for him and Cameron Silman Craig. Bentley's, like I said, improvement in the pass defense. Also, like Coach Hart said, he wanted to see. B. Grant is a natural pass defender, sideline to sideline. They just got a lot of combinations they can go with that can be productive out there. He's going to stay with the hot hand, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him just rotating guys based off of play count, so to speak.
Yes.
Because all of them have been productive in different ways. You know what I mean? Oh, now everybody out there, run them chats up, run them likes up one time for your mind. We up in this thing, Dog and Dave, once again. We're talking about Colorado football as we normally do, and the linebackers are hidden, and a lot of competition there. But we also have the big elephant in the room, Dave.
Oh, that man.
Mama, there goes that man. They're talking about Travis Hunter. Like Coach Prime say, should our quote, has a tremendous chance to come back and play this week. Does he make the difference versus Stanford? Is he I know he's a difference maker, but does he show it in this game, or is he kind of just easing his way back into it right now coming off the injury?
Well, man, I hope that we just see him out there, that he's been cleared without the, he doesn't have a no contact jersey on anything like that. So I would love to see him play a handful of snaps on both offense and defense. I'm done predicting that this team's going to blow teams out right now, but I would love for it to get to the place to where we can kind of get some guys on the field in the second half for the first time since Nebraska. That would be great. But man, I'm thrilled to have Travis Hunter back. I think he makes both the offense and defense better, and maybe might have to figure out if he can kick touchbacks too. I mean, what can't this man do? But I think everybody's going to come in here hyped, and when you got a guy coming in there like Travis Hunter, that's that is that guy, that is that dog. I think everybody's going to be. I mean, it's going to help everybody be more locked in, focused, and intense. Like I think the best games that we've played so far have been our first 2 weeks. Against TCU and against Nebraska. Travis Hunter played in those games. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Right. They said he had 2 picks and a touchdown reception at practice already. We saw one going against Amarion Miller. Of course, we saw him give up one against Amarion Miller also, but he came right back and got a pick on it. The guy's just unbelievable as far as ball skills when the ball is in the air and being able to get those turnovers, creating the turnovers. I don't see Stanford testing him a lot, throwing it up there. But if we can get up and by multiple scores, then they will be forced to pass the ball. Mm-hmm. That's when I see those mistakes happening, and Travis making them pay for those mistakes on the defensive side of the football. And even him being back there as a safety valve to, like we saw in the first couple games, him stopping those long runs that could have been touchdowns. He was
Yep.
the last guy back there to make the stop. So him being there, just the angles that he take, the safety valve, and taking off that side of the field as far as passing the ball, I think is just what is needed for Colorado, especially with the intangibles as far as bringing that attitude.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, too, with defense, on the flip side, with the offense, um, I don't know what our numbers have been, but I assume that our third down numbers were better in those games that Travis was playing in as well, because we've had a handful of drives, stall out on that first third down we face on a drive or whatever. But Travis's chemistry he has with Shador is just on a level that nobody else has, and he's truly Shador's security blanket on the on third downs. A lot of these third and longs, he's been able to throw those balls up to Travis, and he keeps these drives going. So you're going to see our defense be able to load up the box because we can leave their one of their wide receivers or their only wide receiver, depending on the set, out on an island against Travis. He can take care of that. And, also on offense, I mean, they're going to have a hard time covering everybody when you got a guy like that can bring pretty much any 50-50 ball down.
Exactly, man, because he's out there. He's the difference maker on both sides of the ball. He's the difference maker. And then on the offensive side of the ball, when he's out there, like you said, great point. He's that security blanket for Shador Sanders. Shador knows what to expect from Travis, and when the ball usually hits Travis' hands, he comes down with it some type of way. Yeah. He makes that catch. So Big Mike says Travis is going to draw the double. He opens the field for the other receivers. Exactly. What we're going to do is we're going to take some questions also. We're going to get in the chat, take some questions on the second half of the show, which we're coming up on right now. We're already at 17 minutes, 22 after the hour, basically, and we're going to go in about 8 minutes, halftime, to take some questions. So y'all go ahead and get them in. If you want to call in, should I put the call-in link out there for them, or should I just... Maybe y'all do the chats for now. If y'all want to call in, y'all let me know. I'll put a
link. Let's see if people are interested.
Exactly. So let me see. I'll do it right quick. I'll go ahead and put that out there and put this in the comments right now. You can call in here. Call in. There you go. For anybody else want to call in and leave your comments. Excuse the typo, but it's out there.
You got it.
Matter of fact, let me make sure I do it again.
Oh yeah, I think that link. Yeah, you caught it.
Okay. Did I catch? Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, we're in there now. Like swimwear, should I say? Where we can take some calls and we can take some questions coming in about what's going on with Stanford and the Colorado game that we're looking forward to. This is going down on Friday. This is a Friday Night Lights game. Literally under the lights. Is Friday night football big, high school football big in Colorado, to where this might interrupt some stuff?
Nah. It's not like Texas or Florida or any of these big states. We got a population significantly less than the size of the Dallas-Fort Worth area for our entire state, but we do have some good high school football here. We do have a handful of programs worth watching. Beckham, Chris Kritza, one of the 4-star quarterbacks we're looking at, is a quarterback right here at Boulder at Fairview High School. So I don't know if they play at home or away, but you got to know, man, especially with the team we got right now, the personalities, Boulder is going to be the place to be at. No high school is getting in the way of that. That's for sure.
Now you said something about Dallas, Texas, and then we got a Dallas, Texas native right here. E.J. Smith, the son of Emmitt Smith, another former
yes.
Coach Prime teammate, will be playing. We saw Jerry Rice last week with his son Brendan Rice at USC, or a week before, and now we're seeing another Dallas Cowboy teammate, E.J. Smith, the son of Emmitt Smith. That means that the son of Emmitt Smith is now going to be playing with Stanford. Are we gonna be seeing this every other week? Coach Prime playing against one of his former teammates' sons or something, man.
I
how is
love
that?
it.
Just that I'm trying to look up his stats right now to see how big or see how much of an impact he's been having. But just to have that situation going on, we probably see Emmitt Smith in the house this Friday. How big is that? How much of a story is that? Also, once again.
I think it's exciting. I hope that he doesn't put up any headline type numbers against us, because this is going to be a great test, to see if we're building that consistency in the run game. I feel like we've done better at defending, the read options and different things like that. You alluded to it earlier today. We might see Stanford run some more of that. So, man, I love that. I hope that we can contain him. I know that they have a pretty heavy running back rotation. So, yeah, it's going to be somewhere I think it's cool, but it can't have it be too cool against us.
All right. Oh, good question. What happened to Jacob Page? I think Jacob Page is still there, or did something happen with him, disciplinary reasons or something? But I know he was
I got
wearing number
no idea.
23. I'll probably have to look into that. Michael Irvin has a relative that plays for Stanford as well. Wow. Michael Irvin has a cousin that plays there. Okay, we'll have to look that up too, man. So Mike should be back there in Boulder once again also. We had a caller come in. We just lost him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was about to click on it, then it went off. So let me see here. Emmitt Smith visited Boulder a couple weeks ago. Yep, he did. Good catch right there, Geniality.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, y'all go ahead and get your comments in. Let me know. Maybe we can look up some stuff, and we'll go from there. Shiloh leads the conference in tackles, doesn't he? Yes, he does.
Yep.
Let me see. Maybe I can get those stats in front of me. But he does lead them in tackles right now with 26 solo tackles, 6 assists, 32 total tackles for Shiloh Sanders, 1 pick and 1 touchdown, 1 forced fumble, of course. And next guy behind him, actually, he's tied with the Marion Cooper, who has 32 total tackles, also 27 solo. And we saw him, and he has a sack. We saw him really ball out. That played at the last game, where I think he's one of those good tackling cornerbacks where everything in front of him, he takes care of it. If he can see it, he's taking care of it, whether it's run, pass, or whatever. As a cornerback, good job so far from Marion Cooper. Also, what do you think of him?
Yeah, man, he's been great. I feel like we have a very nice kind of cornerback room coming together. I feel like Omarion's taking strides. Travis, we know what he's going to be, but it's been great to see Cormani out there, as well as Carter Stoutmeyer. We've had a handful of guys, get on the field because of injuries or this and that, but man, I think that this secondary is going to continue to be improved throughout the season. And man, hopefully, even by the time that we play UCLA here in a few weeks, it's going to be important that we lock down all the weapons that they got on offense. That's for sure.
Right. Do you think the reason Juju was kept out of the game was to keep Shiloh the leading tackler? Nobody's looking at that. I mean, if there's
We're
a
in the
coach,
wins business.
right, they're in the wins business. That's crazy to even think that. But Coach Hart addressed that. He said that it's performance based and it's week to week and it's based off of practice. And I tried to tell this to Coach Hayes yesterday that each week game plans changes, based off the team you're playing, which means that personnel can change also. So if I'm game planning for a certain run style, and I know this linebacker has been performing versus this run style the best, based off of what we see on tape at practice. We talking about practice. Yeah, we talking about practice, right? That's what it is. So based off of practice, that man, they started who they felt like would give them the best opportunity to win, and we saw the performance that they had. So next week it could be somebody totally different. Like Coach Hart said, it's DeMore Kennedy right now this week, who I'm excited to 22 out that thing.
Yeah, let's see it. I got a question for you, Big Dog. I didn't see Coach Prime's press conference before we spoke on the post game on Saturday. But man, I feel like he's kind of at his wits end, or like, had his last straw, right now with the offensive line performance. Do you think we might see a different combination of starters out there this week, or you think that might be addressed when we hit the bye?
Because I see these questions right here. Shouts out to Dub Will and Big Steel, putting it on out there. Flyboy Brass and Big LT, what's happening? So any changes, any chances of seeing changes on the offensive line, man, that just depends on how those backups have been developing. I still have
Please
questions.
develop. Please.
I need to follow up on this too, but so right now the starters have been Big Tank at left tackle, Jack Bailey at left guard, Van Bam Wells at center, um, Landon Beebe at right guard, and then Reggie Young started at right tackle for Savion Washington, who's out with an injury right now. The guys who's behind them at the top of my head, I can see Big Jack Wilty at one of the guard positions. I can see Hank Zelinskis, he's a freshman though, at the center. I can see hate that we lost Tyler Brown because he would have been at the guard. Kareem Harding is there. Jeremiah McCrimmon is there. How well have they grasped the playbook so far? That's the question. That's the big issue, I think, for the whole offensive line is the mental part of it. The reason why I say that is because as much as you get the mental part of it, that's how fast you can turn around and play, right?
Yeah.
Even coach was saying, hey man, every team sees defenses come up and show blitz with 5, 6, 7 players and then drop off. Every team been seeing that. Every offensive lineman been seeing it forever. True. But offensive line is that one unit on the team that has to be the most cohesive as far as connection, communication, and blocking together as a unit, as one. If one is off, that is like the classic statement of you only as strong as your weakest link. And that's especially true on the offensive line. You have one guy doing his own thing or not knowing what to do, that can disrupt everything. So if you're in that film study and you're understanding what we're going to do when we see certain things and we get certain calls, even if we make the wrong call and they look like they're blitzing from the right, but they come from the left, how do we adjust to that at the snap, after the snap? How do we see these things? How do we not have 4 guys or 5 guys blocking 2, but they have 4 rushers? You know, how do we do that? I think that's all film room, and that puts our guys in a position to be better and play at the optimal level.
Would you be able to talk us through that a little bit more? Like having played, college football, when these guys get up on the line, or even like a running, you're fullback in college.
Oh yeah,
right?
I played on the line at tight end. Okay. I played behind the line at H-back, fullback. I play on the line at slot receiver. All of those spots, inside and outside.
So when you're at the line and you got 15, 20 seconds or whatever before the play clock's out, what exactly is happening? How do you communicate? Like, what is going through your mind in terms of identifying like who you're assigned to protect, and if that shifts, how is that all communicated at the line?
Great question, and I'll do my best to articulate it. If we're at the line of scrimmage, right, you're going to come out with the call. So in the huddle, or for Colorado's case, a lot of times they're at the line, they're getting the calls at the line. So they're looking to the sideline. When you see them look to the sideline, they're finding Coach Sean Lewis and his assistants, and they're getting the calls, whatever it is. The wide receivers might just be looking at Coach Shad, who's giving, or Brett Bartolone, who's giving wide receivers calls. But once they get those calls, they line up. And from there, you're going to assess what the defense is going to show you, especially the front 5 right there on the offensive line, right? So from the center to the tackle position, there's a communication going on from the center and the quarterback telling them what the protection is. It could be a Roger call, which means we're going to slide. Everybody's going to slide one step to the right side, or you're going to block the guy one step in to your right side, basically. You know what I mean? Because it's a Roger call, so you're sliding right and you're blocking there. If it's a lead call, you're going to do the opposite on the other side. You're going to slide left because it looked like the blitz is coming from that side, right? So you want the protection to slide there. Sometimes the back in the backfield will go to the opposite side of the protection. So if it's a lead call, the back would know to go to the right to fill in because the line is sliding this way. The back will fill in there, working his way from inside out. So he's going to look for the most dangerous rusher. He has two guys coming at him. He'll pick up the one inside first and leave the one on the outside for the quarterback, right? So at the line of scrimmage is what the question is. These guys coming up showing you have a certain call, and the quarterback or the center can say, hey, they can identify, hey, this guy's coming. You know, he's not a part of our count, but now he is. Identify him as the Mike linebacker. He's the middle linebacker, so that means that he's the middle guy, which we can count over to the left or over to the right from. That's our midpoint right there. A lot of communication is going on at this line of scrimmage at this point, and that's what I'm saying. We have to make sure we're on the same page as, because if the quarterback is coming up here saying, we got Roger, right? And the defense is showing Roger, and then all of a sudden they show the blitz off the left side. Quarterback comes back up to the line. He makes a audible call. Now we're going Lee. But the running back doesn't hear this call, and he still blocks like it's a Roger call, right? That can mess up everything. Now you got a free guy coming off the end. So all of these things is very kind of, complicated in certain terms, because to the naked eye, you just see guys lining up and running the play. When you see these centers pointing or doing this, you might not see their mouth moving, but they're making calls throughout the game before the snap. Even something as simple as quarterback coming to the line, he might say green before he called. That's a sign, that's a signal. He's not just saying green because it's a color. He might be saying green because just like red, just like when you're driving, what does green mean? Go, right? So he could be saying green because we're gonna snap the ball on go. So he can say green, ready, black of the eight, orange, ready, set, go, because we're going on go. So all of these things are ways to communicate at the line of scrimmage and in the film room. At times like this, when nobody is watching, when you're studying the film with your coach, and you're going back over these games and you're identifying these guys. Look, guys, we had a Roger call right here because it looked like they were coming with the Roger blitz, but actually they came with a Lee blitz. How could we identify this next time before it happens, right? Oh, they're showing it right here. Look at the indicator. Look at the DB and how deep he is on the right side as opposed to on the left side. That kind of shows that the blitz is going to come from the left as opposed to the right. So we should have a Lee call instead of a Roger call. That's what the film study is, and that's what I feel like they need more of, which will have them playing a lot faster. Hopefully I broke that down for you guys in the long way.
That was perfect.
That somebody said. Let me see what Marcel says as we answer this super chat from Don Peasy real quick. If Coach Lewis gets head coach job after year's end, do you think Coach Flea or Bartoloni gets the OC job? Let's say, what do you think? You think, do they bring in another offensive coordinator or one of those guys get promoted to it?
And I'd like to see just one of those guys get promoted, because then, you kind of keep the continuity and all that. So I don't have a preference right now between Coach Flea or I know Coach Bartoloni was calling the offense last year, but I don't really have a preference. As long as we're not getting away from a run game, I'm not going to complain too much.
Right. All right, real quick, we got Marcel called in. Marcel, we see your name. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's your question or your comment.
How you doing? How y'all doing, man? Appreciate y'all letting me on.
Sure.
I'm a truck driver, so I pretty much go everywhere. So, but I actually had a question, man. How do you believe this O-line can improve from here on?
All right, Marcel, I appreciate it, man. Be safe driving the truck. We're going to answer it right now, which is what we kind of answered also, which was, my answer was get in that film room and study. That's why Coach Prime harps on it so much, is for his players to really get on that film room, because you can see things that can give you tips that can help you in the next game in the film room and film study. So, from my experience, and learning in the film room and allowing me to play faster because I see what's happening. Same way Shiloh Sanders got that 80-yard pick for the touchdown. Coach Prime said that was attributed to him being in film study and seeing those formations come out there and the tendencies of the team and being able to jump that route and take it for a touchdown. That's what I'm saying. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. I think another thing that I think about as well is just like, how do we like unlock the dog in all these guys? Because I think we want to see them play with a little bit more attitude, and if we're playing with a little bit more attitude and confidence, then the performance is going to be better. That's how I see it. So, I am no coach. On a lighthearted note, let's get these boys some Red Bulls, before the game, and that viral clip of the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman, years ago, he's
get slapped.
Get me slapped,
Big
slap
John
me harder,
Henderson. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's amped up, maybe we do some of that, but on a serious note, I think starting the game out, just going with some run plays off the bat, even if they're not for a long yardage, I think it could kind of help them get into that mentality of being physical, because when you're pass blocking, you're kind of stepping back, you're still engaging, but it's a different energy, than run blocking, which is like, you're really on the attack to lay some guys out, put some guys down on the ground, like some pancake style blocks. What do you think about that?
No, exactly. Offensive lineman mentality is usually to run block, to kind of manhandle the other guy on the other side of the ball. A lot of guys, and I interviewed David Connor earlier, the injured offensive lineman for Colorado. He said his favorite thing is the pass block. I'll tell you right now, you don't see that often from many offensive linemen. I'll say old school ones that I played with. Maybe it's different nowadays with the younger guys, but old school traditional offensive linemen love to run block to get things going, and then you can pass block kind of off of that, kind of like a counter punch in boxing, to do the pass and RPOs and things of that nature. So I think it lets them be a lot more aggressive, having them run. So I would like to see that more also. Speaking of running, we'll get right into it. Will we see Big Alto McCaskill get more touches this week? I think Coach Prime said we should see a lot more of him. Coach Fleece said we should see him. Will we see him? It's been like the last couple of weeks we've been talking about it, hoping we would see him. He got 5 carries versus, I think it was Oregon, then 1 carry versus USC. And did we see him any versus the last game? Not sure we saw him at all versus last game.
I don't think so. Just on special teams.
Right. So moving forward, will we see him versus Stanford? Will this be the game?
Man, I sure hope so. Again, outside of Travis and Shador, he was one of those guys next in line that I was super excited about. I didn't think that his knee was going to be, much of an issue coming into the season, just because, again, it's been, a year and a half now at this point. But, with these ACL injuries, they can be tricky, and there's a wide range of how long it takes people to come back and be ready to roll. There's a lot of variance when it comes to recovery. So yeah, hopefully we see him kind of take those strides and get a few series, to really go out there and prove it, because, Hank's been doing a wonderful job. And
Hank.
Yeah. And I think in order for McCaskill, to get out there and to become the starter that I think a lot of us expected him to be when he first suited up, I mean, he's got to be putting out more production than Hank, and Hank's doing a good job right now.
I agree. Let's get to a little bit of the stats real quick while we're talking about it. As far as rushing go, for Colorado, Dylan Edwards has 47 rushes, 217 yards. I didn't realize he was the leader right now. I would figure that he was the leader as far as receptions, but not carries. I thought Hankerson would have been there. Well, it's very close. Hankerson has 48. Dylan has 47. Hankerson 214 yards. Dylan with 217 yards. 4.6 yards a carry for Dylan and 4.5 for Big Bank Hank. Both of them have 1 touchdown. Savion Wilkerson also has a touchdown run, 20 carries, 60 yards for him, 3-yard average. Alton McCaskill has 6 total carries, like we said earlier, 22 yards, 3.7-yard average. And we'll go, I think those are all the running backs. Charlie Offerdahl had his 2 for 11 in that game. The other ones came from wide receivers. Kvassier Smoke 2 for -2. So that running backfield hasn't been very, I would say, diverse as far as who's getting the ball, as we see Dylan Edwards and Anthony Hankerson taking the bulk of them. Will that change in the second half of the season? Will that kind of balance out with these guys at the bottom of the list? Because we saw Coach Prime say Kvassier Smoke is a dog. We know Alton McCaskill is a dog and how much he loves him coming back off that injury. Will we see Savion Wilkerson also is a beast? Will we see it kind of flip now going into the second half? Will we see these fresher guys come in and get more carries? McCaskill, Smoke, and Hank and Wilkerson. Also, Dylan Edwards more out of the backfield. I'm not sure. You could chime in on that if you want to, Dave. Let me know what you think.
Well, I have liked the integration over the last couple weeks, running some more of those toss plays, to Dylan Edwards outside the or in the shotgun formation. I know that maybe sometimes, we got to run him inside, just to kind of keep the defense honest, to some extent. But I would like to see a little bit more of a rotation. Again, I think with the talent that we got in the running back room, that's not something that I want us to take for granted. I think that we can get fresh legs out there. I would like to honestly see us, do some more like close yardage or short yardage runs inside, like on the goal line, and bringing in Bishop Thomas, bringing in, Shane Cokes to do some of that. I'd just like to see a little bit more of that, because I feel like with McCaskill, he's a big guy that can do it. I think Hank has shown us, over the last couple games, that he's a guy that can really fall forward and get that extra yards. Savion Wilkerson has done that. And I would like to see us to continue to just establish that habit of like getting that short yard, getting that extra yard, understanding what it takes, because man, it's going to be important to have that belief and have that history and pattern of success over the course of a handful of games before we're going against, some of these defenses like Oregon State and Utah, where it's really going to require us to be at our best.
Exactly. I agree with that. Everything you said. Shout out to Coach G. I appreciate that. April Dawn, you too. Honestly, what are they doing? I guess, she's talking about McCaskill. What are they doing? I think they're just being cautious because he has 3 years left. And they know the type of talent he is and the production we're getting from the running backs now. Everybody, we just kind of excited because we know what he looks like and what we think we could have in him, and with the perceived lack of production from the run game, everybody just ready to see McCaskill out there. We all excited, but it'll happen when it happens, and we'll be ready for it when that thing get to jumping about the package like Christmas morning. Like, we super excited to see him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
H has got a point here. Man, we don't want to throw him out with this offensive line before he's ready. You know what I'm saying? So
that could be a good point too. Coach Prime might think, or I'm not going to say Coach Prime either, because at the end of the day, just like Coach Hart said today, Coach Prime is not a micromanager. He trusts, if there's anybody he trusts on this staff, it's going to be these three: Coach Hart, Coach Flea, and Coach Mathis, right? That's cornerbacks, linebackers, and running backs. So he's going to let them make their call on as far as who he thinks, who they think is going to be best and most productive for this game. They're going to call it, and they're going to see. Coach Prime is going to let it roll like that, I think, based off of what he's been saying. Where's the link to join? Robbie Blue said. I'll put it in there one more time if you guys want to join in. Marcel, I appreciate you. You might have to leave the studio. I don't want to kick you out because I don't know if that's gonna, hurt you from joining next time. But you might have to leave the studio to exit yourself out to get out of there. So I'll do this. Call in, and it should be in the chat right now. Not right now, but right now. I can get y'all chat. Yeah, let's go.
Do
Let me
it.
see. Big dog. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I could Reginald Glover. If this is my boy Reggie. Big dog, did you see that 300-pounder Big Bishop Thomas run down on kickoff return and smash that returner? I did. David saw it too. He was excited. And I had just said, I'm wondering why didn't you? I said it last game too when I saw him. I was like, why is Big Bishop Thomas running down there on kickoff? But it wasn't just Big Bishop. I was saying, why is there any defensive tackle 300-pounder running down there on kickoff, let alone on the team that we're thin that defensive tackle at? And then he went out there and smashed the guy in the mouth. So what did you think about that, David? Did you jump up and down when you saw that?
Oh man, I was thrilled. I was pumped up about that. And he's just an athlete, man. Like, looking back at his huddle tape in high school, like, that's some of the most explosive stuff that I've ever seen. Like, y'all go take a look at it because he's doing everything, on offense and defense. And I would like to just see more of him on the field. He's a guy, if he can play on special teams, on kickoff coverage, why aren't we lining this guy up in like 2 tight end sets?
But then he's out there on the play Xavier Weaver scored on. He was the lead blocker out there, him and Big Shane Coates. I don't know if Shane got the right person on that play, but it worked out well, and they both
that's true. But I'm talking about, like, even shotgun. Like, have this guy out there
like a Wildcat.
Yeah, or just there to block, or even get down for a little play action route, man. Like, he can, he's got some wheels.
I think before the season is out, we're going to see Bishop catch a touchdown off of play action. Chico called it right here. I've said it a couple lives ago, but I bet you we'll see Bishop catch a touchdown off of a play action. It could be this game too. Look out for it. All right.
What do you think about moving him to edge?
Nah. I still versatile player, could play outside pass rusher like a 4-3 defense type end in goal line situations, but just in the middle of the field, no. But definitely inside the red zone, I could put him out there. As a matter of fact, I've said this too. I'd put 4 defensive linemen, at least 3 defensive tackles, should I say, out there in the goal line situation with those other athletic guys on the line. But at least Leonard Payne, Bishop Thomas, and another big Amari McNeil in that middle for goal line. So we got to call in right quick. Like we got Robbie Blue calling in. Robbie Blue, shouts out to you. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's your question or your comment. Make sure I get you unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited about Colorado football this year. I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. I appreciate you guys' commentary. I'm in Texas right now, but I'm an Atlanta native, so I did appreciate Deion and what he did for the Falcons and the Braves back in the day. This is just my observation that I think people are not getting about the Colorado football team. And Deion alluded to it in the summertime when he mentioned conditioning. And one advantage that he has by being a Hall of Famer and playing at an NFL level is he knew that his guys were going to be a little undersized. So what happens is that gives Colorado the advantage in the second half, because all these other teams, they come at them. I don't care whether you're playing at home or away, they get gassed out. Because I keep seeing people comment, hey, man, those injury timeouts are just BS. And I do think it's true. I think that they just start to be like, look, man, we've given these guys all that we want, and they get rope-a-doped. So in that fourth quarter, that's why all of a sudden the offense opens up and Shador is able to do what he does. So it's not just the guys not playing well or they're not playing up to their ability. Let's be honest. They're a little outclassed on the line, just a little bit. You can have a lot of heart, but some of these guys are just a little bit bigger, but they don't have the level of conditioning that these guys have, which that goes into the mental toughness. And I think that's what gives them the edge. And I feel that if it had not been for some mental errors, and that's what Deion means about identity, they could have beat USC. Oregon, I just think that Oregon was playing a little bit dirty and got into their head psychologically. Because when you're that talented of a team, you don't have to do trick plays. I think that's bad karma that's going to come back on them. It really makes them look classless, in my opinion. How their coach was. I mean, people could say all day that it was just football, and you guys are bandwagon Dion fans. No, I know arrogance when I see it, and Dion's not even being arrogant. He's saying something that I think all Americans can drive from. If you're confident in yourself, somebody else's insecurity is not your problem. Why would you not want to have a positive self-image in yourself? And this is another thing. I think Javon, the big guy, I know he played well. He caught a couple of passes. I'm glad Travis is coming back. But I really think they should put him as a two tight end set with Haskin, with the other dude. I think he could play tight end. And I think with Dylan, you're just going to have to pull some linemen and get a little tricky. I think with trick plays, you can get Dylan open. Don't have him not only with screen, but with some slant passes, like do some little disguise with trips and have some receivers block for him. And then once he gets going, you saw how he was breaking ankles against TCU. So I think Colorado, I know a lot of people think, maybe I'm drinking Drano. I really believe they could win the rest of their games. And I feel like if Travis was not injured, they would have beaten USC. And that's just my personal opinion.
Definitely. I appreciate you calling in. Robbie Blue from Texas, Atlanta native. A lot of good information right there, dog. One thing I would like to say is, man, he hit a lot of points.
Yeah.
But Dylan Edwards, definitely get him the ball out in space. He can do some things. Shoot. Anybody else want to join in or comment on what Robbie said? He hit so many points. I should have wrote down some things. I was about to come in with one thing. He said another one.
Maybe I can remind you a little bit, Big Dog. I can step up here, but Robbie's so right about the conditioning. We saw just Arizona State just fade, especially in that fourth quarter, when it came to just the line play. Like our defensive line was like getting pressure with like 3 and 4 man rushes, which we hadn't been, in the first half. We just started to dominate again. I think 5 sacks in the second half, and man, yeah, you saw it with USC. If we just kept it a little bit cleaner, we were in striking distance of getting that win. And with the altitude too, it becomes a huge advantage when you're already training to get at that elite level conditioning. You put the altitude on top of it, and yeah, TCU, same case. We were the better conditioned team. Sonny Dykes went out and said it, straight up, after that game. I think Robbie Blue hit the nail straight on the head with that, is that our conditioning coach Mo deserves a lot of credit for these fourth quarter comebacks and last minute wins.
Being that secret weapon that somebody said in the chat. Once again, appreciate you, Robbie. As far as the conditioning goes, in my opinion, also, you're spot on. You got more athletic guys. At some point, it could show up and show out as far as that conditioning goes. And these guys has been a little bit more conditioned than the guys they're playing against. And then that second half is really cranked up and shows you the difference. Let me see another comment here. We got time for another caller to come in. We got about 6 more minutes to go. And we could get in another caller. If anybody want to call in, get in the chats. You'll see it. I posted it in the chat. Let me see if I post it one more time. That link right there that I just posted in the chat. Y'all make sure y'all get in there. If you're on Facebook, you can follow live right now at Big Dog Chico Sports Talk on Facebook. Big Dog Chico Sports Talk on Facebook. Also, David Talks Buff on YouTube. Big Dog Chico on YouTube, and everywhere else you can find us at. Hit me on Instagram right now on the inbox. And you guys can be sponsoring this show. Who want to sponsor Dog and Dave? Who want to be the sponsor? Go ahead and get it in. Get us an official sponsorship. You feel me? K. Hayes said Bucky was giving Coach Mo. Oh, he did say something about Javon Antonio playing the tight end spot. And if you look at who was that? The pregame show posted a video, Sights and Sounds. You'll see Coach Brewster, the tight end coach, greeting everybody before the game as they're stretching. And he goes up to Javon Antonio and says something like, you're going to make a play from the tight end position today, so to speak, because I think they have some, in other words, I think they have some packages, which is another thing that coaches do in between time in game planning for the week, is they'll put in packages like, hey, Javon, this week, we're going to come in this set. And when we come in this set or we get in this situation, you come down to the tight end spot because we're going to have Mikey on the other side. They never cover their backside tight end. That's the type of game planning that goes in from watching film, from seeing that, hey, if we put Javon at tight end right here, let him run a crossing route, ain't no way they can keep up with him. So that's the type of stuff that they'll do. I'm sure if they put it in last week, there's still type ways that they can use it for the next week, although it was tailor-made for the previous game.
And man, I love that. I got a question for you, Big Dog. This got me thinking. I had a commenter one time, like recently comment about how they think a pistol offense or pistol formation might serve Shador and the offense a little bit better. That's a little bit beyond my expertise right now. What advantages in your mind would running the pistol give this offense, if any?
I can see right now, in my opinion, just from the formation aspect of it, for everybody to know, the shotgun, the quarterback is away from the center. The ball is snapped. He's not under the center. He's about 5 yards away. In the pistol, which is shorter, these are gun references. I hate to say that on here. Hopefully everything's all right. In the shotgun formation, he's about 5 yards away, so he's further, which hence a bigger gun. In the pistol, he comes up about 3 yards or 3.5 yards away from the center, taking a shorter snap, right? Which in turn, the running back is not next to him now, like he is in the shotgun. Running back now can be directly behind him, which means that now the running back can go either way. Is not so predictable as if you were in the shotgun formation and he's to the left side of you. Usually, and this is what I try to expect from the linebackers on like third and short. If you see the running back line up to the left side of or on any side of the quarterback, right, from the shotgun position, and you're playing the run as a running back, you got to know that the only way he can get this handoff is if the quarterback put it out in front and he comes across his face. Unless it's a counter, he hands it and then he comes back. But usually he's going to take that ball right across his face and go up in the gap right behind two hole or the 4 hole right behind the guard in between the tackle. All right. So the linebacker can be blitzing that and hitting that in the mouth before the guy even gets going. From the pistol formation, now the quarterback takes a snap. He's going to turn around to either side as if he was under the center and taking a snap, because now the running back is directly behind him. A little bit more of a two-way go for the running back, not so predictable. I think it could help this offense. Also, if we see that pistol formation, you could do a lot more reverses now with the pistol formation. Even you still do the same plays, it's just a different look from the pistol rather than the shotgun formation. So good question and good point right there.
I got another follow-up to that, Big Dog. So from the running back's perspective, does it provide any advantages when you kind of have that running head start to grab the ball and to hit the hole, as opposed to like waiting for the ball to be put kind of in the bread basket right next to you?
From my opinion, and I first got wind of this offense, of course, when I went to college, and my offensive coordinator, my head coach, who was the offensive coordinator, he loved to run this same type of offense, spread offense, 4 wide receivers, running back next to the quarterback, maybe 1 tight end, and that's what kind of got me in the tweener position, should I say, because I come in as a tight end, but in this offense, you want to have a blocking tight end, until he realized that a tight end like Mikey Harrison, which would have been me at the time, is better suited and can get more receptions rather than just having a big blocker right there. But he wanted that extra blocker because he's going to always run to that side with the handoff to that running back from next to the quarterback. Now, me, from a running back perspective, and I did this one time when I played over in Europe, because the coach saw me. I played defensive end. I got a quarterback sack and took the ball all the way back about 80 yards. You guys can watch that on my YouTube page if you go scroll back far enough. But I took it 80 yards, and I even high stepped like Dion, the last 10 yards. But after that, the coach said, "Damn, son, you got some wheels." can we hand you the ball off, right? So I'm like, yeah, for sure. But I'm thinking from the I formation, like Big Jerome Bettis, you know what I'm saying? But no, he wants to have me like I'm a little scat back and have me stand next to the quarterback and take that little read handoff, which was foreign to me, right? And this is how hard it is. The quarterback is having to read at the same time. The running back is having to feel and read at the same time. So no, he's not going full speed. That's why you saw Shador last game kind of get stuck, and he got all the way up to the line of scrimmage before he actually let the ball go because they were still reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my case, I did that, and everybody saw me in the backfield. And this is the attitude that the defense has to have, right? The defense on the other side, and it just so happened that, man, this story is crazy. We played against a team from Vienna, Austria, which is one of the bigger cities there, and their defensive end was Alonzo Barrett, who is a former Colorado Buffalo, which is so crazy. And I saw him at the game, at the Nebraska game. Actually, it's on my video. Don't lie, he was in the front row, and I'm walking, and I hear somebody say Chico, and I say, whoever that is, they know me. And I turn around, and it's Barrett right there. So we had a good conversation. Shout out to my dog. He probably listening in right now. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is, I was in the backfield next to the quarterback, and the defense is saying, they're gonna give it a Chico. They're gonna give it a Chico. Da, da, da. But the point, they shot the gap. And before the quarterback can even take the ball out of my hand, they smashing me in the mouth. Bam! Right? So the question was, from a running back perspective, what's better? Getting it from that side of the quarterback or getting it from behind the quarterback, more of an I formation where you get that running start? I'll say that running start each and every time because you're not having to read. You're not having to hope a feel to see if the quarterback is going to give you the ball or pull the ball or one or the other. So, yes, the pistol formation from right behind the quarterback to where he gets the running start, the quarterback turns and hands it to him. I think that'll be a better and a different wrinkle for them in the run game. All right. Sorry for the long-windedness. Hope you guys stayed along with that. Spam me in the chats and let me know what y'all think about those stories and the questions answered and asked by Dave right quick there.
Man, that was super helpful, Big Dog, because, yeah, I'm going to be a pistol stand now. I'm going to have to go find some college all-22 tape because you don't see that, happen much in the college game. When Manning was in his last couple of years here in Denver, we ran a lot more pistol. Because we were becoming more run heavy, but haven't really seen it much since.
But what did you just say? You ran more pistol because you were becoming more run heavy and you wanted to be less predictable because in the league, they can see that. And that's what the RPO came from. That running back next to the quarterback and he's handing it to him, but he's reading at the same time. So he could hand it to him or take it and pull and throw. So that's why they want to establish the run from that position, because if you can run it from that position, now the defense is going to be coming up to try to stop the run and you could pull it and pass it. So that's the concept. That's the philosophy that you want. But does it always work? If you have a hungry linebacker who's going to say, you know what, I'm just going to shoot that gap every time they line up like this because my job is to stop the run. And I'm not going to wait on it to come. I'm going to go hit it in the mouth. While he's trying to read it, I'm going to do like they did Chico out in Europe, and I'm going to hit him in the mouth. Because I know they're trying to run it to him, And that's exactly what can happen if you got an aggressive defense. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking for more production out of the run game coming in. We got our pistol stand, our neighborhood pistol resident stand. David Talks Buff in here.
Yeah, get ready for some pistol content.
All right, man. Any other things you want to discuss right now? I know we're 5 after the hour. We're going to have our advertisers probably mad at us right now, or they could be happy because we're going longer. But let me know any final thoughts, any questions, comments that you want to put in right now.
Man, just sending out some good mojo this week against, Stanford. I want to see a good game. I want to see the Buffs get a victory, and good Lord, I want to see us have a clean, productive game on special teams that contributes to a win, baby, because we will need the third phase to go in our favor come this second half of the season after the bye. That is going to be an important phase of the game that we need to win.
You said special teams. I don't want to allude to that I'm talking about special teams, but Coach Prime did say something in his press conference today that I would like to address. He said, because they asked him about basically the coaches meeting, he said in the coaches meeting that he had, I'm sorry, it wasn't Coach Hart. It was Coach Prime. Coach Hart. It wasn't Coach Prime. It was Coach Hart who said this. He said some of the coaches should be worried about should they be making the next mortgage payment on their house or should they be looking to sell? Is that not a telling statement? What does that mean to you? What do you think that is? Is he directing that at anybody?
Special teams. So it's got to be special teams. Rawhide Media is here in the chat, and he has said he will be a volunteer special teams coordinator if we need one. I've never seen special teams this bad.
I would.
I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but we got to turn this around, man.
We did get a big play from Zay Weaver, and we probably would have scored had we got a couple blocks from the guys trying to usher him into the end zone. They could have just.
Well, I think Coach Prime said we only had 10 guys on that return, and I wouldn't counted it. I could not find an 11th guy on that return.
That's another thing. Even in the good plays, you only have 11 people on the field, Coach. What are y'all doing? Come on, dog. There's no excuse to have this many problems. Oh, man, I hate this. Oh, my gosh, man. Y'all let me know in the chats what y'all think about this. Goodness gracious. But Coach Hart did put it out there. He said it. You should be wondering whether you're going to make your mortgage payment on your house or are you going to sell, dog. I don't think and I don't hope that's going to cause any division in the coaches' locker room in the coaches meeting or anything like that, but Coach Hart did put it out there. He was pretty blunt about it. And you just called out, you said special teams has been the most problem. We got people talking about offensive line being problems, defense, everything. Defense giving up 34 points per game. But Coach Prime did at least have Coach Kelly back by saying he listened to Coach Kelly's calls and he's calling an excellent ball game. We just got to make the plays. So that's one thing, but man, y'all put it in the chat. Let me know what coach was Coach Hart probably alluding to, and what what offense, defense, or special teams. And we were supposed to be about this thing, but we still up in this thing. We got Loud Pack checking in one time. Real quick, shout to Coach, shout to K Hayes, God Spirits, that guy Bill, Mene, the man above, and Rawhide Media. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, for me, there's a little bit more patience, man, with the offensive line and the defense, with the defensive line, just because it's like we know we're a little bit undersized there. With special teams, we have everything that we need to just be just fine, to make these plays.
Right.
So I'm gonna be a little bit more critical of that unit right now, and I understand, these lines are a little bit more work in progress long term.
Exactly. I like how you put that. Good point. One Loud Pack, what's happening with you? Oh, now where you checking in from and what's your question or your comment?
Hey, brother, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I want to first say shout out to Big Dog Chico because I used to watch the Jackson State games, and I remember when Travis did the Alcorn game. I knew then he was the best player in the nation.
For sure.
Shout out to all the boys, Sealman, Craig. Them boys making plays up there. So shout out to all of them.
For sure.
And my comment, I think we're gonna do good this week. Travis gonna give us a big boost, and people gonna be happy. He back, and I think we're gonna do good. I think we're gonna start out a little faster this week. Last week we played bad, but we won. So I think we're gonna play better this week, hopefully.
Right. I appreciate that, dog. I appreciate you checking in all the way from Jackson State. From the get-go. You know what I mean?
The reason I could watch him last year, Big Dog.
For sure, dog. I appreciate you. For sure. I do think though Travis will be that boost. And that's what I'm looking for this week, man. Shout out to One Loud Pack once again. Long time subscriber and supporter checking in. Dave, go ahead and chime in on that one more time.
Well, I just had another thought. Sorry. But I'm just gonna say, if we can't get these kickoffs through the end zone every single time, like Coach Prime is wondering why the heck that's not happening, we need to grab one of our fantastic women's soccer players and just suit her up to kick it out of the end zone every single time. I'm sure we got somebody on campus that can do it. Please, let's just get this done.
Out the end zone, dog. Come on, keep it in bounds. I had a question too. As we got days to come checking in right now, I have a question too. Do we ever see Coach Sal on the sideline during the games, or is he in the booth? Because I didn't notice him on the sideline. Have you noticed?
No idea. Why isn't Sean Lewis in the booth?
Now he on the sideline making the calls. A lot of offensive coordinators are in the booth so they can see everything, right? They can see a lot more.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if he might be better at, on the booth. But I'm just a guy in his bedroom and I'm coaching the whole team. But I'll do it with special teams, not with offense, though.
Right. I feel you. But yeah, special teams, though. I think special teams, as far as in the chat go, as far as getting the most votes, look like special teams in the chat it's been the culprit. I think you broke it down very nicely, though. In the best way possible by saying, offensive and defensive line, we know there's still some holes to fill and, things to add there. As far as special teams, you can pick and pull from both sides of the ball to get your best guys out there to do the best job possible. PAT, I still think that the type of technique that they're out there trying to execute is putting these guys in a situation to just get ran over, and damn near putting the kicker in a situation to get the kick block. I just think that is something different that I have really never seen in my playing time, So I don't know where that comes from. Maybe somebody.
You got any eligibility left, big dog?
Man, I got some coaching eligibility left. I know that much. Holla at your boy. We got days to come calling in. What's happening with you? Where you calling in from? What's your question or your comment?
What's up, Big Chico? Hey, man.
What's happening?
I'm calling in. Man? I'm pretty much calling in. I'm calling in from Chicago.
Okay. Chi-Town. Checking
can you
in.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You going in and out, but go ahead. What's your question? We can't hear you, Chi-Town. On phone them, I can't hear you. All right, let us know if you can get back on Chi-Town. Days to come. On phone them, like they say in Chicago.
Put Travis on O-line, he'll get it done.
Coach Prime says
Bishop on O-line, man.
Special teams is hot garbage, as Coach Prime would say. Somebody asked, will he be trademarking that also? Hot garbage. Bucky has eligibility. Man, Bucky
and you could argue, man. I know we made, we had a mistake on offense, and we gave up a lot of points against USC, but that special teams was responsible for like a 10-point swing, man, and the difference was 7 points, I think, right? So we could already say, man, that it's made a difference, man, in a win or loss right now. That's kind of how I feel about it, and if we don't get it under control, man, it's going to come back to bite us again, sadly.
Yeah. Lawrence Collins said Coach Sal's in the booth would be must-see TV if he was on the sideline. I think it'll kind of help if Coach Sal was on the sideline in their faces some. Or he might be kind of like leaving at the Coach Nick Williams. The younger guy can do that exact thing like Coach Sal is saying, and Coach Sal could be in the booth being like that eye in the sky for Coach Nick Williams down there. So I'm sure they're in constant communication. And, Coach Sal being older, 64 years old, he's probably thinking like, man, hey, dog, I'm not being on no damn sideline anymore. Forget that.
Can we give him a scooter? Is that allowed on the sideline? Like,
I don't know. You got to be Coach Prime with. You got to have a certain. Let me go move on from that one. Lewis has a lot of side conversations with players on the sideline. He couldn't have from the booth. Yeah, exactly. And he's calling those plays. He's fast paced out there calling those plays. It could happen from the booth, but I think he's more, like he said, hands-on. You can have those conversations face to face. You can see your quarterback and look him in his eyes and go from there on, you know. So what they have right now, I think, is a work in progress, and they're finding the best ways that it'll all work together and fit together in the best way possible to be successful. Let me see one more time. Days to come. You got a question real quick, like.
Yeah. So my thing is, I was saying, I think that we kind of overreacting a little bit, because I say that because we're a new team. It's like new coaches, new team, new players. If it was up to me, I think everybody. If I was Coach Ryan, everybody is on the chopping block.
Everybody,
coaches, players, staff members, the equipment guy.
No, you know, Smitty ain't nowhere now. Smitty, if anybody has been performing at the top level, it's been Smitty, dog. So Smitty ain't going nowhere.
And the head chef, Chef Solomon. We got to keep
Chef
him,
Solomon,
man.
Smitty and Chef Solomon. You talk about job security.
Well, man, Ralphie's on the chopping block right now too. You know, that's true.
No, but you know, I feel like our coaches is cool. I think our coaches don't have the players that they really want. Because I think that someone on the offense and defense kind of like a lot of them play both ways on like special team, kickoff, punt return, and stuff like that. I think it could get a little bit confusing, like who's supposed to be out there and like who don't supposed to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think they need designated people who gonna play kickoff, punt return, you know what I'm saying? Punt, instead of having guys who play offense or defense to be on punt return, kickoff return, and stuff like that. So
just have certain guys dedicated to that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They need guys who really gonna play those roles instead of you know what I'm saying, where like the offense get off, you know what I'm saying? You got to find guys and
yeah.
You punt return, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you in that moment, it's kind of hard to keep track like all the players and all the numbers, like who's really supposed to be on there. So
appreciate that. Days to come. Real quick, like I would like to go over that, kind of break that down real quick as far as how the special teams go and why would we be having so many problems on there, and how could the special teams go out there on the field and it only be 10 people out there and nobody right? And it's supposed to be 11, of course. Man, I've seen it happen many ways before, but in college, this is a science, is a nuance, is broken down to where your special teams coach even have special team assistants, and they're calling for these special teams 2 or 3 plays before they're even supposed to be out there. So second, let's say offense is out there on the field and and now it's second and long. There is somebody on the sideline that should be saying right now, punt team right here, punt team right here on the sideline. So they got the whole punt team is right there on the sideline, minus maybe one guy who's on the field or whatever. But based off what he just said, everybody need to be already on the sideline, ready to run out as soon as the punt team is called for. Nobody should be looking around. Where's John at? John should have been already right there on second down when the special teams assistant or whoever strength coach was saying punt team. Same thing for punt return. You see your defense playing well out there, it's second and long for their offense. You're already calling for punt return right here on me. Stay with me, punt return, stay with me. It's somebody, that's your whole job, dog. That's your whole job, to when they run out on the field, it's somebody on the sideline like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coach, we only got 10. We need one more. That's how it is. So for them to have that many problems and there's not being enough people on punt team or punt return or any special team unit, or somebody running out there late, buckling up their chin strap. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff should be going on, dog, especially with all the problems that we've had previously. I'm the special teams coordinator. we in the parking lot the day before the game. We haven't walked through after practice. Everybody else gone in to eat their lunch. I've already went over with my special team unit. Hey, dog, y'all eat last because after all the meetings, we're going to meet too. So go ahead, have it in your head. We eat last. We special team unit. We eat last. Period. And that's how I'm doing it. You got to take it serious, dog, because you're not going to be telling me in no press conference that I got to worry about paying my mortgage or whether I'm going to put my house on rent. Hell no.
I got a question for you, Big Dog, more about the special teams, because I've kind of wondered this too, and I think it kind of like plays into. I kind of like agree with some of the things Days to Come was saying in terms of like, I think it's better like for our place kicking. You know, if there's just a place kicker that knows every time that he's just going in there to kick those field goals. I understand if it's like Mata from like 50 in, if he's just going to be the guy moving forward. Like with kickoffs specifically, we've seen such a rotation happen between sometimes Jace is doing it, other times Paluzzo's doing it. Or like with returning, you know, we've seen Jimmy back there. We've seen Xavier back there. I think we might have seen another guy or two back there. You know, do you think like with some of these other positions, it just helps knowing going in, like, you know, I'm going to be the kickoff guy. I'm going to be the punt return guy. You know, I'm going to be the kickoff return guy. Or does it not really make a difference from a player psychology standpoint?
Yeah, but usually all those things are taking place. Like right now, what's today? Wednesday. All of those things are taking place right now. Jimmy, you got all the kickoff return duties this week. You know, you should be taking more reps at practice. Zay Weaver, you had a good punt return. You still number one punt return this week. You know, unless you just made a big play or something, or you got injured, now you can't do punt return. Jimmy, you're number 2 this week. Be ready if Zay go down. Now, what happens is a lot of times that number 2 guy might not be paying attention because his psyche is, I'm still number 2. There's nothing wrong with number 1. He misses the fact that number 1 is either asking to come out, got hurt, might have said to number 2, hey, get me on this punt return right here. And then number 2 just straight up forgets. Punt comes out and he goes sit on the sideline, got his helmet on. He's still thinking about offense. And the special teams coach, punt return. Where the hell is the punt returner? And like, oh snap, it's me. Damn. And now you come back to the sideline, dog. I told you to go out there. You got me, dog. I forgot, dog. And those things happen. That's what we saw with Kawhi Smoke. I think one of those games we saw on the sideline, Smoke was talking to somebody, and the special team unit had just came off, and Smoke was like, hey, man, I told you to go get me. And so a lot of those things happen on the sideline where players also have the freedom of knowing who your backup is, because you know that all week, and you go tell that backup, hey, dog, go get me on this one. Now, if the backup don't go get you, guess who the coach is going to come stick his foot up? You know, he's going to come and get you. You're the starter. You should have came and asked me, could you come out? But coach, you always told us, no. You know, now you're never right. You're always wrong. You're the messed up now.
One more follow-up with the special teams, and then I'll get off my my talking point here. So when Coach Prime was saying, seems like every other team can kick it out the darn end zone, you know, for a touchback, except our team. I have wondered this because, you know, Jace has the leg, but when we opened up against Arizona State, it was like he was kicking it high for like the purpose of a return. And then I'm wondering, is there miscommunication right now between what Coach Prime wants with the special teams versus what they're being told? Because, or, you know, am I just too optimistic, just thinking like Jace has got the leg, he should just be kicking it to the end zone every freaking time. I want to think that he would kick one that short without being told to.
Well, that's what it seems like on paper that he has the leg too. It seems like there is some type of miscommunication or disconnect from what Coach Prime wants and what they're out there executing. I'm sure he's saying, man, kick the ball through the end zone. Why can't we do that? Jace's leg is strong enough. Palazzo just losing focus and kicking the ball out of bounds. That's just a mechanical loss of focus issue from a kicker standpoint, in my opinion, from what I know. And trust me, I hung out with my kickers a lot. Shout out to my dogs. You know what I mean? My spec unit. But with them kicking and the ball going out of bounds, that's just like a golfer shanking it or hooking it. You know, they're just trying to overdo it probably, and now you just you're overswinging and the ball going straight out of bounds. You can't have that. You got to find somebody who's going to be consistent doing that. Yes, we are talking about special teams, the third of the game, which is super important, and we've seen how important it is in the games that we have played. So if you guys have a question, you could have gotten it in. If not, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll make sure we get on next Dog and Dave. We're 25 minutes after the hour, longer than what we wanted to go. But shouts out to all the questions that came through, and everybody else. We're going to continue to look through them and get back on when we can. Following up after this game, Stanford, Friday Night Lights going down, 8 p.m. kickoff Mountain Time, ESPN, and everybody should be able to watch it. If you can't watch it, we will be live right here calling this game. So come on, join for the live watch party and play-by-play. You feel me? El Cone, what's happening with you? Thomas McCulley, Lawrence Collins, Jamila, Coach G. Shouts out to all the super chats who came through and all the donations, all right? Hit us up anytime, man. Dog and Dave, we up and about this thing. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah, y'all. Dog and Dave.